So today I want to talk about praying for your wife. This one's for all the husbands. I'm going to use Abraham. Oh, sorry, I'm just kidding. All right, so it's not Abraham. It's Adam. I'm going to use Adam as an example. Um, in the very beginning, God, before Eve comes on the scene, God says that he made man, male and female. He created them, and then is only in Adam, right? And so thus Eve hasn't been pulled out of Adam quite yet. And God gives Adam the job of naming all the creatures. So Adam goes about naming all the creatures, and it kind of says that he didn't find one that was like him. Okay. And then after God puts him in this deep sleep, creates Eve, pulls her out, Adam is excited, okay? And he says, I'm going to call you woman, right? And there's probably some really deep Hebrew word or whatever that explains what he's really saying, but I don't know all that. So I'm just gonna give you what I know. And that is that the name that Adam gave her was out of like excitement and elation. It was like a term of endearment saying like, you are like, this one is mine. This one is like me in a sense. No, it's not in a sense. He's like, this one is like me. There's nobody, no other animal that's like me, but this one is like me. It's almost because God said that it wasn't good for him to be alone. So he makes a mate for him. And when Adam sees her, he's like elated because the job that God gave him and the dominion that God gave him was to name, in a sense, to say what a thing is. Okay? So God gave Adam and God gives men authority to say what their wives are, what women are. That you have the authority on the earth to say what is, okay? To speak things into existence. It's heavy. It's scary for women because if a man isn't a godly man, he's going to misuse it. As a matter of fact, even godly men will misuse it. And when I say that, what I'm saying is that even a godly man is imperfect, is what I'm saying. Um, but the point is that the heavier responsibility is on that man. And what I'm saying to you is, for men, use, and I'm saying this as I say it, I'm convicting my own self. Use your words wisely as you speak over your wives. Okay, that's one. And then furthermore, when we're talking about praying, you have a more authority, especially married men, over your spouse. What does that look like? And I'm not saying you have authority to tell her what to do. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you have dominion over what goes on around her, especially in the spirit. Your job not only is to speak into her, but to protect her as well. And what I'm saying is, because you have this authority, therefore you can speak to the spirit realm. And when you speak to the spirit realm regarding your wife, stuff has to move because you have dominion. That wife is part of you. And that's why God says you're not supposed to beat her. You're supposed to die for her because he gives you the ultimate, he gives you authority over what goes around her. So what does that look like? I'm not saying, as a joke for you to go and try to tell your wife what to do and then be surprised that she's not going to do it, because we just don't live in those kind of times so much. But the point is more like, if you feel like your wife is going through a hard time, then it is expected of you to go and pray and go to the Father, go into the spirit realm and pull out blessings for her, pull out healing for her. That's what I'm talking about. Like, you can absolutely, you have the highest authority to pour out goodness on your wife and in her life. It sounds, like I said, if you are not in your position, if you're not in your position, then she's open up to attack. And that's why you're in the spirit, you're actually her first protector in the spirit. A lot of people, a lot of women don't want to hear that unless you have a man who's actually trying to do that. And my call is, if you never realized it before, start doing that. Pray for your wife today. Use your words to speak life into her and not to criticize her, like I'm really bad at. So I'm not telling you stuff that, like, I'm not coming from some, super high spot where I'm just like perfect with my wife. I'm learning just like you. And what I've learned is that to speak life over your wife, because God has given you the highest authority and the highest responsibility to do so. I hope that blesses somebody. Go forward, go pray over your wife if you feel like she's having a hard time, if you feel like if there's any sort of emotional trauma, or if you feel like there is just a necessity for a fulfillment, or whatever it is that she needs, because you're going to know it the best if if you guys have a relationship where you're paying attention to those sorts of things. You're going to be in the best position, and God has given you the highest authority, not only to speak over her, but also to protect her in the spirit as well as in the natural. I'm not giving nobody no courses on how to fight nobody for your wife. That's natural. But what people do know, what I am trying to tell you, is how to fight for your wife in the spirit, on your knees,